Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Red Dead Online and I'm going to be talking about the Navy Revolver in the game. And so this video is going to serve two purposes. The main purpose is going to be to show you the top 5 best ways to design this revolver in the game, or at least the best ones that I've come up with. I've often gotten requests based on some of my weapon designs in the game to do a video showing how to make some of the different ones because people like how they look apparently. So I picked my 5 best designs for the Navy Revolver and I'm just going to show them all to you. But before that, I'm also going to clear up some confusion about the Navy Revolver in this game because I've seen a lot of people that are very confused about this weapon and its real life counterpart. So I'm just gonna read a blurb to you right off the old Wikipedias here that gives a pretty good description of this gun so that you actually know what it is and what it's based on and such. So the Colt 1851 Navy Revolver. The Colt Revolving Belt Pistol or Navy Pistol, sometimes erroneously referred to as Colt Revolving Belt Pistol of Naval Caliber or of Navy Caliber, is a cap and ball revolver that was designed by Samuel Colt between 1847 and 1850. Colt first referred to this revolver as the Ranger size model, and then revolving belt, but the designation Navy quickly took over. After the Civil War, revolvers using fixed metallic cartridges came into widespread use. The Colt Navy remained in production until 1873, being then replaced in the Colt line with what would become one of the manufacturer's most famous handguns, the Colt Single Action Army, also known as the Peacemaker and the Colt 45. Total production numbers of the Colt 1851 Navy Revolver numbered some 215,000 domestic units and about 42,000 produced in the Colt London Armory. So basically, I just wanted to make sure that we clarify that the Navy Revolver in this game is based on the Colt 1851 Navy Revolver and not the Peacemaker. And a lot of people get really confused about these handguns. But in the early years of the West, the 1851 Navy Revolver was definitely the most popular and widespread handgun, except for possibly the Remington New Army, which came out a few years later. But I really wanted to clear up the fact that the Peacemaker and the Colt Single Action Army are the same gun. People seem to think they're not, but they totally are. The Colt Single Action Army was the name that Colt gave their gun, and a lot of people referred to it as the Peacemaker, but they're literally the same gun. So when people ask, like, they want to see the Peacemaker in the game, it is in the game. The Cattleman Revolver is the Single Action Army Revolver, so it is the Peacemaker, or Colt 45, depending how you want to call it. So I just wanted to clear that up, because I think a lot of people don't actually understand all the different models of guns that exist in this game. But with all that in mind, now that we've had that rather long intro out of the way, let's just get right into some of the designs. So we're going to start off with the one that I think should rank number 5 out of all of my designs for the Navy Revolver. So here at number 5, we have what I consider to be the base model kind of look for it. Now obviously the factory finish for this would not look like this. It would be primarily blackened or blued steel with like brass for the trigger, the trigger guard, and the hammer. So if you wanted to go for factory finish, that would be the way to go. For what I consider to be kind of my base look for it without getting too fancy, I like to go with this nickel-plated version. So I just give it the pro grips, the regular length barrel, improved rifling, improved sights, you know, all the good stuff. I like to put the eagle in the grip just because I like how it looks the best out of all the possible engravings. I think the eagle looks the best. It goes with the iconic, if you were going to do it on the Colt Single Action Army, it would be the iconic Peacemaker because you have the eagle butt Peacemaker. That's neither here nor there. I just like the eagle engraved. But then I did full engravings with silver inlay and full nickel plating for the trigger guard, hammer, frame, cylinder, and barrel. It doesn't look complex, but I think just consistently, this one is going to be always a good looking gun. Fancy looking without being gaudy, because if you go with the solid gold look that I know a lot of people like, I think that looks over the top and a little bit ridiculous, whereas this looks really nice, it's classy, and it'll only cost you 6 gold. So that's number 5. Like I said, I like how it looks. I know a lot of people may not like the solid silver look, but I think it looks pretty sharp. So that's number 5. Let's move on to number 4. Okay, so here at number 4, we've got another one that I would consider a decently basic level of design. And so for this one, I went with the same basic stuff as before with the, you know, regular length barrel, improved rifling, improved sights, but I put the ebony grips on it. And then for the design, we go with the full Baroque engravings and do that again with the silver inlay. And then this time, just full blackened steel for the barrel, the cylinder, the frame, the hammer, the trigger guard, and the trigger. I think this design does an excellent job of looking fancy and intricate and something that maybe someone who really likes their gun, you know, like a high-end gunslinger, someone who's really into themselves. I think this fits that sort of theme, but I think it also is understated because it's the black and steel, which is probably the most understated metal in the game as far as flashiness and appearance goes. So I definitely like this one. I think it plays well with, like I said, a gunslinger, you know, one of your try-hard all-black outfits, someone dual-wielding 2 of these things. I think it looks pretty dang cool for that. I think for this this one, if I was going to name this gun, if I'd have named that first one, I probably would have called it the Lone Ranger, because I think it fits his personality. This one I would call the Silver Lining. I think that's a kind of a cool name for this design of the Navy Revolver. But yeah, that's number 4. Like I said, Baroque engravings with silver inlay, and then all black and steel with the ebony grips. Just looks sharp. So that's number 4. Let's move on to number 3. So this is my middle of the road one at number 3, and I like to call this one the Brass Boy. I think this one, a lot of people sleep on this color combination here, but I think it looks really good. I mean, you tell me what you think. Doesn't this look really good? And pretty dang unique, because I don't think a lot of people, like I said, this is not a color combination that gets used all that much. And sure, it's probably because it's the 2 least used colors that I've seen in the game, because they're just not flashy at all. But I think together they look really good. So for this one, I did standard length barrel, improved sights, improved rifling. I did the ironwood grip, and I have the, I believe, mesquite varnish on there, but it doesn't really matter what color the varnish is. I just think that one contrasts the best with this this color combination. And then I did the cougar carving on there, just because it kind of, I don't know, it just looks tough to me. Maybe that's just me, but this color combination makes the gun look a little bit tougher. And then for the engraving on the gun, I went with the full Victorian style, and I did the brass inlay for that. So like I said, I just think it pops really well, just surprisingly well. This is one that I haven't used for a while, but it's definitely one that I like. So for this one, I go with the browned steel for the trigger, the barrel, and the cylinder, so the meat of the gun. And then for the frame, the hammer, and the trigger guard, I do all brass. This is going to cost 12 gold to do this, the full pistol to look like this, or the full revolver to look like this, I should say. And honestly, like I said, I just think this one looks great. I don't think a lot of people have thought of this one, so it's probably going to be the most unique one on this list. But yeah, honestly, a solid choice for the Navy Revolver. But that's number 3, so let's move on to number 2, the second best one I could come up with. So here at number 2, we have the one that I like to call the Regal. I don't know why, it just kind of popped into my head when I was looking at this one. So for this one, we're going to do the same as before, standard length barrel, improved everything, blah, 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 you know. Then we're going to put the pearl grip on it, and we're going to carve a snake into that bad boy. And I just think it fits really well with this style. Then we're going to go with the Victorian engraving style with the silver inlay again, because it just pops out the best on this. And then we're going to be designing it as such. So the blackened steel for the barrel, the cylinder, the hammer, and the trigger guard. And then I decided to go with nickel for both the trigger and the frame. And I considered going with silver or just iron. So honestly, if you wanted to design this one, you could just stick with the iron, because it looks decent enough with it, and it'll obviously save you some gold. But I think the nickel looks the best because it's got that consistent plating finish, and that's another reason why I also like the blackened steels, because it's got a more consistent look than like the blued steel does, at least on most guns. But on this gun, I just think this looks really nice. I called it the Regal because this one kind of strikes me as like as a wealthy businessman's revolver from like the early years of the Wild West, or maybe even someone who just came out from Boston or something. Someone with a real, they got more money than they know what to do with, so they get themselves a fancy gun because they're headed out west. This kind of fits that theme for me. I really like how it looks. Again, I've said that about all of the ones I've done so far on this list, but I think this one stands out really well because, again, it's got that black going on, so it's a little bit more understated than a lot of the more colorful options you could see, or even like the full nickel plating. But the engravings really pop out on that black if you do them with silver, and then you've got just enough nickel plating in there for the frame and the trigger to stand out just a little bit. And of course, that contrasting against the pearl grips, I think that looks really sharp. So that's number 2. That's the second best one I could come up with, the Regal. Let's move on to the final one that I have at number 1. All right, and so for the final one on my list, I've got the Dare to Game Classic, because this is basically what I almost always have on my Navy revolvers. A, because since you have to pay gold every single time you want to do metal changes, I don't do it very frequently, even when I come up with good designs, because it costs me a bunch of gold. But also because this color combination, I haven't been able to beat it yet, just because it looks so good. Yes, it's a little bit on the flashy side, which is why a lot of the other ones I had on this list did not include gold in them, because I think the gold is a bit gaudy if you overdo it. But I think this gun has exactly the right balance for it. So for this one, I did standard length barrel, improved rifling, improved sights, ironwood grip with the mesquite finish, carved the buck into the grips, and then for the engraving, we have the Art Nouveau engravings for the full length, all of it, and the inlay material for that being gold. And then for the metals, I did blued steel for the barrel, the cylinder, the hammer, and the trigger guard, and then gold for the frame and the trigger. So it's kind of similar to the Regal, just with different metals and a bit of a different engraving, different grip, But like pattern is about the same. I think this one just arguably looks the best. As much as I like a lot of the other designs that I showed in this video, and I honestly do, I love all of them, and I think a lot of people will agree with me. This one is just gonna always be my favorite because of how well it goes together. The contrast from the wood grips to the gold on the blued, it's got such a body to it that it's hard to describe. As much as I love some of the contrasts I did with the other guns, this one is just tops for me. And this one is decently expensive because whenever you put gold on anything, it's going to cost you a few, and the blued steel isn't as cheap as the iron or the nickel. But it's obvious, it's honestly not too bad. It's not like you're doing full gold plating, which costs like 30 gold bars. This one has just enough gold to look fancy, but not so much to break the bank. That's number one for me, probably always will be. So what did you think about my designs? Which one was your favorite, or did you not like any of them, or did you like all of them equally? Also, do you have any really cool, unique designs that you think would do well up against any of these ones that I put forth? If so, I would love to hear any of that down in the comment section below. Also, just a general question. So for me, the Navy Revolver is definitely my favorite handgun in the game overall. It beats all the pistols and all the other revolvers, like without a doubt. I absolutely love how it performs, love how it sounds, and I love how it looks. Plus, you can't really beat that iconic early Wild West kind of vibe that you can only get with the Navy Revolver currently. Yeah, if you don't have anything to say about any of the designs I put forth, what's your favorite handgun in Red Dead Online? And if you liked the video, I of course invite you to leave a like to show me and other people that it was a good video, and it either helped or was entertaining in some way. And lastly, if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe. I've been saying it a lot recently, but my channel needs subscriptions to grow. So if you like this content and you're likely to watch more of it, then I invite you to subscribe and ring the bell, so that way you can stick with me and get updates every day as I release videos. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it useful or entertaining. Thanks for watching and have a nice day, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you liked this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.